I do not believe that stem cells helped me. I went through a massive healing crisis after, though it helped with the belief set initially, which is the brain retraining. When you learn about brain retraining, it might make more sense. Well, my plan was to come and film at the beach today, but this is what we got out there. So I'm going to read the question. I'm going to drive to another place. So I did stem cells in 2018 and I had quite an experience with them. I filmed a bunch of videos for the process of it, talking about what my experience was for, I think, like about the 10 weeks following. And also we'll preface this with, I have since 100% fully healed from the Lyme disease, toxic mold, multiple chemical sensitivity, autoimmune disorders, a whole bunch of different things that I had going on. Had a pretty terrible experience with stem cells and a lot of things that occurred from that. This is the question that was asked by at either Brian's Paw or Brian's Spa. Thank you for your video. Really inspiring. I wanted to ask, do you think you had a bad reaction to the stems? This happened to me now, and I've gone 1,000 times worse after the stem cells. Scared that it triggered mcas and autoimmune, and I have no way out of this anymore. I'm so glad to hear you stopped all supplements. I did too, because suddenly after stem cells, my body is hypersensitive and rejecting everything I put into me, which is very scary. I'm starting brain retraining, yay. I've done a lot of therapy over the years, but I haven't done breathwork, for example. Can relate to this entirely. I'm so happy to hear that you have started with brain retraining. So I am going to go over what happened while I was at the clinic, what happened after the clinic, and what I did in order to get myself beyond where I was at. Okay, I just managed my spot a little bit off the road here, so there'll be some traffic noise, but it'll be quiet, pretty quiet. So my experience with stem cells, to start off with just briefly, was I went to Infusio Beverly Hills, which was a company out of Germany that came here, I think for sports medicine, and then it turned into Lyme disease treatment was their main thing that they were practicing when I went there. And it was 2 weeks of lots of IV bags and different treatments, iron treatments, ozone therapy, and vitamin bags, like vitamin C bags, and a whole bunch of different things, some detox protocols, hyperbaric chamber. It seemed really like fancy, and they knew what they were doing and everything, and you have your fingers crossed, you're just hoping that it's going to work. I did not feel good after the treatments. I had previously also not felt good after similar types of treatments. And just hoping again that things are going to be okay. We were told that we were going to go into something called neuro repair, which essentially was going to be the stem cells latching on to the various parts of your body that needed healing, that it was going to be this repair phase that you might get worse before you get better. It was going to take a certain time frame. I think they said it was going to take about like 6 months or something like that before people go into neuro repair. And they kind of gave some brief timelines and things. They had very loose information, not concrete information, and exactly what they were doing with the stem cells, what the process was. Wasn't getting very clear answers on things, but again, was just desperate and just hoping for any kind of answer, any kind of help with something. At this point, I was extremely sick. Not sure if, I was going to get out of the situation that I was in, the experiences I was having, and had been in it for over 10 years. So I left there and immediately went to my parents' house in Arizona. So this was a fairly new house. It had a lot of new furniture in it. It was over 100 degrees when we got there. The house, even with air conditioning set at 85, was just off-gassing all of the furniture glues, all the formaldehyde, everything that's in new furniture and paint and everything like that, that had basically been hotboxed into this Arizona house for months without somebody opening it up. So we get there, not thinking of any of this because I had mild versions of reactions to things compared to what happened after this. So I walk in the house and I almost immediately go into hives, like all over my face, and I think on my neck and my arms. Those were the places that I typically broke out in rashes. But my face definitely just started turning red. I started getting hives, and I felt like I couldn't breathe. And it's 100 degrees outside. I was heat intolerant at this time. If it was above 80 degrees and I was outside, I would start feeling like I was going to pass out. My body would start swelling. I'd be in a lot of pain. It was not a good situation. I absolutely needed to be in like 80 degrees or below. And so my plan this time was to just go to my parents' house and just recover from the stem cell process. So walk in the door, immediately like break out in hives, feel like I can't breathe, go back to the cars, turn on the AC, and I'm just sitting in the car. I actually have a video of me in this situation. I can link it down below if you'd like to go check that out. I was like devastated. We had just drove there from LA, and my house was in the Bay Area in California, so it was a 12-hour drive back to the Bay Area. And so I had an immediate multiple chemical sensitivity, mast cell activation syndrome, autoimmune experiences going on. It was, like I said, already there, but not to that degree. That was just the first glimpse of, wow, something drastically changed. So we called the doctor and they were like, well, you're not going into neuro repair right away. Like something couldn't have happened like this quickly. Basically, they were saying we haven't had somebody report this, or if they did have somebody report this, they were not acknowledging that and probably not trying to cause panic and all sorts of different things based on the little bit of experience that we as humans have with stem cells so far and everything like that. So this was, again, like I said, just the beginning of a whole new world of not just multiple chemical sensitivity, but also extreme light sensitivity. I had already had bad light sensitivity. It got way, way worse. I already had sound sensitivity. It got way, way worse. Motion, just even turning my head too fast and trying to catch my vision with everything I was seeing, would feel like I was going to throw up because it was so much movement and so much to take in. My brain just couldn't take all that information in quickly enough to catch up with it, and it was just completely overwhelmed. I could not compute. And so I had everything, food sensitivities and allergies, everything just got tremendously worse after this. So I have a series of some vlogs kind of going through talking about what I was going through at these times. Now, when I was vlogging this, the interesting thing is I had started brain retraining just before I got the stem cells. I had stopped it. I felt frustrated with it. I was like, no, I'm going to go for another treatment. I want to go for something outside of me and get some help with stuff, even though I was using my own stem cells, which was my thought to myself. I'm using my own stem cells. I'm using myself to heal, but not really, I mean, you can use help. I'm not saying that, but anyway, so I, in my head, in my belief system was like, okay, this is going to heal me, even though I'm way worse. They said I was going to go through neuro repair. They said this was going to happen, to some extent, even though they're like, it can't happen this quickly. There's no way that's going on yet. I was like, well, something's happening. I went back for testing 3 months later, and they were like, oh my gosh, yeah, you're in neuro repair already. And so again, like the gauging on this and everything, not entirely sure, but I guess what they were witnessing in me, 3 months in, is something that they were witnessing in like 6 months in, for other people. So, And based on just what I was verbally reporting, that wasn't, I guess, typical. However, again, who knows what they were actually really saying is true to what was actually coming in. They were gaining information so quickly and having people do this for the first time and still trying to, sell the experience of the stem cells. And, who's to say what their intentions were and everything like that. But I ended up getting into a very literal dark place. So I had such bad light sensitivity that I was sitting in a dark room with dark sunglasses on. My phone was on like the darkest. I had a special app on my phone that would turn my phone so dark that I, could barely even see what was on my screen. And I was trying to play cards with my mom in the dark where we couldn't even see if the card was red or black. And living in noise canceling headphones, eating the tiniest amounts of variety of food, eating a lot of what I could eat, but the variety was very small, and reacting to everything, even EMFs. So we had a smart meter outside the house, and I was just like feeling like, oh my God, like I don't know what's going on. And every time I'd get closer to that part of the wall, and then my dad was like, there's a smart meter out there. I think it was like after a certain amount of time, he was like, there's a smart meter out there. So they unplugged the smart meter, and sure enough, it was better after that, to some extent, just better in that situation. They got a new Wi-Fi one day, and I don't even know if I knew that they got a new Wi-Fi, honestly. It was just in the closet next to the kitchen. I walked out of the bedroom and went into the kitchen and literally just went down to the ground. Like I was hearing this high-pitched noise. My body felt like it couldn't even stand up. It felt like something was just like attacking me, like I walked into this force field or something. And so I was like, oh my God, I feel so sick. I went back into the bedroom. I like calmed down. I later tried to go back out. Same thing happened. After this happened a few times, I was like, oh my God, that noise. Somebody said, I think it's the Wi-Fi. So I was like, unplug the Wi-Fi. So my dad goes and plugs the Wi-Fi, and he's like, instantly was like, oh my God, like the noise stopped. They couldn't hear anything. They couldn't hear this. They couldn't feel anything. And then it stopped. And then he plugged it back in and it came back. So he's like, okay, you sit there, turn around, and, I'm going to plug this in and unplug it. And he's like, you feel anything? I'm like, no. You feel anything? No. You feel anything? No. And then he's like, you feel anything? I'm like, turn it off. And he does this a couple of times, and he realized like I was actually like experiencing this. I do not experience this anymore. I can hear high-pitched noises sometimes, but I do not experience this anymore. So my body was just so sensitive to absolutely everything at this point that it was, just completely overwhelmed with information as it was in this, what they called neuro repair, or complete chaos that my body had been spun into after stem cells. So one day my mom says, what about brain retraining? Why don't you pick up your brain retraining again? So they had told us like 100 days, don't do anything, just let the stem cells sit in there. This is, in my mind, because they wanted their research to be accurate. They don't want you doing a bunch of things because they want to see if the stem cells were doing something or not, or what they were doing. So they tell you not to do anything. And I was like, okay, I'm just not going to do anything for 100 days. Then it was past 100 days, and my mom's like, okay, why don't we start the, brain retraining? Why don't you start brain retraining again? So I did. And I also started with a naturopath that, there's two different naturopaths I was seeing, one in Arizona and one in the Bay Area. I was going back and forth between the two. They did, both did acupuncture with different things. So one did acupuncture NAET treatment, which is to help you with sensitivities to anything, and emotions as well. And then the other one did acupuncture with energy work. And oh my gosh, like that was like opening me up to an entirely different world. And I learned a lot from that, and what I'm capable of as well through that. Then I started doing Wim Hof. I started breathwork. I started cold therapy when I could. I had Raynaud's syndrome, and so I was very, very sensitive to the cold. I watched recovery videos. The brain retraining videos were what actually showed me that, oh my gosh, these people have sound sensitivity, light sensitivity, movement sensitivity, fragrance sensitivity, food allergies, everything that I was experiencing, chronic pain, just so many different things that I was experiencing. And though they were different people and different stories, I was like, well, that person healed from that, and that person healed from that, and that person healed from that. So I can do that too. And I somehow just had this belief for the first time that I was sure that I was going to get better. It was just watching these videos and being like, wow, for the first time I've seen somebody come out of this. There was somebody on Instagram that I was following, Resiliently Rachel, who was ahead of me in this process with everything. So she had started doing the brain retraining, somewhere between, I think, like 6 months to a year before I did, and started seeing progress. And then I found other people who had done it as well, and then I was like, okay, they're doing it, I can do it. And that was the changeover for me. And I was believing, knowing that I was going to heal. Let me look at this question again here to see. So yes, I had a bad reaction to stem cells, and I'm not the only one. Everybody that was in my stem cell group also had a bad reaction. And last time I talked to any of these women and the one guy that was in the group, none of them had a positive experience with it, first of all. They all got worse after. And I don't know, certainly the first couple years after, they were not in a good place after the stem cells. So I think I've heard this story from other people as well. It's extremely sad. And I don't think everybody is out there to just make money or hurt somebody. However, there is a lot around all of this where, you know, people are putting a lot of faith into this and hoping for the best, and it isn't coming to that after this. There are people that have gotten better after procedures like this. It's just, it's not predominantly, it seems like it's not creating good outcomes, or at least it wasn't a few years ago. So also they said, I'm glad to hear that you stopped supplements. I did too, because after stem cells, my body is hypersensitive and rejecting everything. So I was already noticing that I was having sensitivity to supplements. My body just wasn't able to process things. Doing the NAET treatments with my acupuncturist really helped me to be able to process things again. So a lot of the nutrients and minerals that we take in through our body through food and through supplements are based on fat. So we need fat in order for our body to uptake these things. And so one of the first vials that she did through this NAET process was to test me for fats and oils, and I was not processing those. So I think we did 3 or 4 treatments before I actually passed that. And then I slowly started seeing an improvement in that. Then we started doing some of the other basic nutrients. I think vitamin D was one of the first ones we did, B vitamins, you know, just general things. And slowly over at least a year and a half of working with her, I started noticing changes. And then it became faster and faster and faster, more things. I was passing the tests much quicker. My body was passing the treatments much quicker. I wasn't having to do them, 3 or 4 times. I was passing a lot of them on the first time around. And I started having much better processing my food, my supplements, everything. I did cut out pretty much all supplements for a while. She had me on ferritin. My iron levels were okay, but my body wasn't able to use them the iron the way that it should. So she had me on ferritin, and that really helped with my energy levels. So my extreme fatigue that I had on a regular basis, that really helped with that. So Brian says, I'm starting brain retraining. I've done a lot of therapy over the years, but I haven't done breath work, for example. So brain retraining is just such an amazing tool. It's something to carry on with the rest of your life. You can use it in every aspect of your healing. It's even just great for general anxiety, just, trying new things and moving forward in different ways. It is beyond therapy. It's, really, for me, it was taking my life into my own hands. I still continue to use these practices on a regular basis, probably daily, pretty much. Breath work, for me, I did the Wim Hof style breathing. I used that specifically as a pattern interrupter, something to help me move through the patterns where I get stuck in a mindset, get stuck in a thought, get stuck in an emotion. I couldn't move myself out of it. Or if I was physically reacting to something. So if I was physically reacting to a smell in the air, to light sensitivity, to sound sensitivity, laundry detergent, whatever it was that I was having a reaction to at that time, I would start to do the breath work, because the Wim Hof breathing alkalizes the body, and it starts to change over in the brain, like what is safe and what isn't. So doing that in combination with brain retraining, doing like the stop at the same time that I was doing the breath work to stop the pattern that I did not want to continue, the non-beneficial pattern that I was experiencing, I was able to move through and forward with that. So that was super, super powerful. The brain retraining, the breath work, and the cold therapy were huge contributors to my healing process. So, it was the stem cells, I think, initially helped me believe that I was getting better. It helped with that belief system of, I'm going to heal, I'm just in this to win this. It was a full 16 months after I had my stem cells that I started to see drastic improvement, where I was able to get behind the wheel of the car. This is where I say that my life started changing. I started getting my independence back, and I started getting my health back, was when I started driving again. So it was in October of 2019, and I was able to drive, with people in the car, with somebody that could take over at any moment. And that was like massive shift in my life there, getting my life back. And then it quickly progressed from there. So did stem cells heal me? I do not believe that they did. 16 months after stem cells, with lots of brain retraining, with lots of different naturopathic help through NAET, through energy work, acupuncture, homeopathy, my own energy work, with working with my own practitioners, to help with mindsets, and getting out in nature and really pushing myself every single day, really sticking with my practices, doing Kundalini, doing yoga, strengthening my body in all the ways that I could at different increments in time throughout my process. I did not get stem cells and sit back and wait for magic to happen. And so I do not believe that stem cells helped me. I went through a massive healing crisis after stem cells, and though it helped with the belief set initially, which is the brain retraining, when you learn about brain retraining, it might make more sense why that would have been something that helped. But yeah, recovery stories, knowing that I can heal, all of that was what did it. So leave me a comment down below if you've had stem cells, if you have experienced something like this, if you were thinking about getting stem cells, if you got stem cells and you got better, if that was the thing that did it for you, share that too. Let me know. And I also do wellness coaching, and I help people specifically with brain retraining, with making the process more fun, more applicable to your life specifically, to helping you move through and navigating the process of all of life, you know, that comes up with it, with boundary setting with people, having understanding, you know, helping family members understand what's going on, how to navigate those interpersonal relationships that can be oh so fun at different times. You can head over to my website if you want. I'll link it down below. It's KimberlyHarder.com. If you are interested in more information on that, I'd love to hear from you. And I'm sending you all the hope and all the love and the knowing that we are so powerful that we can heal our bodies. Our bodies are designed to heal. And yeah, you're rocking it. This is nothing about this is easy. And you are trying, you're here watching this video. You are hearing that this can happen for you too, as I watched these videos and saw that for myself, that, oh my gosh, I can heal. All right, well, give this video a thumbs up because it just helps getting the video out to everybody else. Share it with somebody who might like it, and please subscribe if you'd like to see more videos out there like this. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.